and we look forward to a wonderful evening with Secretary Blinken and also with the Prime Minister of India, Shri Modi ji.
Really, save me.
Let me invite John Chambers and Secretary Blinken on the stage, please. May I ask you to rise and welcome Honorable Prime Minister of India to the stage. Thank you. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to welcome Secretary of State Blinken to make some remarks on this historic occasion. But as a longtime friend of India, Secretary Blinken really needs no introduction to the people in this room. When President Biden nominated Secretary Blinken to serve as the 71st Secretary of State, a role first occupied by Thomas Jefferson himself, it was clear he had chosen someone of deep knowledge, experience, and skills. As a career diplomat in the Clinton and Obama administration and senior foreign policy advisor to Senator and then Vice President Biden, Secretary Blinken developed the extensive strategic vision and political acumen to guide our nation through diplomatic challenges around the globe. Over the past 2 years, Secretary Blinken has focused these significant skills on navigating new challenges, rebuilding critical alliances, and strengthening consequential partnership necessary for us to meet the global challenges of the 21st century. We see the fruit of his effort on display here today in the deep, enduring partnership between United States and India, which is considered the consequential partnership of the 21st century. We are honored to have Secretary Blinken join us today to share his thoughts on that relationship. Secretary Blinken, the floor is yours.
Thank you, everyone. Good evening. It's wonderful to be with all of you this evening. Now, I have to say, Mukesh, it's a little bit intimidating to be in the same sentence with Thomas Jefferson, but I appreciate it. And I also have to say, as a one-time aspiring musician, I especially appreciate being able to take the stage here at the Kennedy Center. It's probably the closest I'll get to actually performing on it. Mr. Prime Minister, this has truly been a historic visit to Washington. To Dr. Mukesh Aghi, to the U.S.-India Strategic Partnership Forum, to the members of the Indian American diaspora, and we've noticed that you're here this week, to all the friends of the U.S.-India cooperation here with us, thank you. Thank you for your work to bring our countries and our citizens ever closer together. You are, as Prime Minister Modi put it, the real engine powering our relationship. Over the last several decades, we have seen a transformation in U.S.-India ties, driven by private sector and civil society leaders like you, by governments of different parties in both of our countries. Today, guided by the vision of President Biden and Prime Minister Modi, the U.S.-India partnership is closer, it's broader, it is more dynamic than it has ever been. And as President Biden said yesterday, we are two great nations, two great friends, two great powers that can define the course of the 21st century. The many deals, the agreements, the exchanges that are coming out of this state visit illustrate just how comprehensive our partnership has become. It reaches quite literally from the seas to the stars, from promoting public health to bolstering peace and stability in the Indo-Pacific. And at its heart is our economic engagement between entrepreneurs, investors, researchers, and others that is expanding opportunity for both of our countries and beyond. Together, we are facilitating greater trade and investment, building on what is already a record $191 billion in bilateral trade. We see the mutual benefits of this relationship when Air India purchases 200 Boeing aircraft, supporting over 1 million American jobs in 44 states. And we see it when Boeing, in turn, commits to training Indian pilots and building regional hubs in India. This partnership is also defined increasingly by efforts to advance technology and innovation, 5G, quantum, artificial intelligence, and to ensure that they are shaped by our values. Building on the initiative on critical and emerging technologies that was launched in January, we announced an innovation handshake yesterday to further connect our startup ecosystems. And the landmark agreement to jointly manufacture advanced GE fighter jet engines in India will facilitate greater tech transfer while strengthening our shared security. We're also de-risking and diversifying our supply chains, from Micron investing $800 million to assemble semiconductors in Gujarat, to India joining the Mineral Security Partnership. And that partnership is helping to develop and ensure trusted sources for vital energy minerals. India's Epsilon Carbon is investing $650 million and creating more than 500 good-paying jobs to build electric vehicle batteries here in the United States, the largest ever Indian investment in the US EV battery industry. And of course, we're investing in our people. Our country's education systems have collectively trained the leaders of trailblazing companies in both the United States and India. Infosys, IBM, FedEx, and we're committed to continuing to create new success stories, streamlining visa processes, opening new consulates to facilitate travel, expanding student exchanges, research collaborations, addressing skills gaps, promoting economic empowerment of women, ensuring that all our people have access to opportunity. You know, if we were gathered together 50, 75, 100 years ago, and we were asking ourselves the question, what constitutes the wealth of a nation? Probably the answer you get back then is maybe the size of its landmass, its population, the strength of its military, its abundance of raw materials. And all of those things remain important. But I think what the United States and India recognize powerfully together is that in this 21st century, the true wealth of our nation is our people. And our ability to maximize their potential is what sets us apart. President Biden often likes to say that America can be defined by a single word: possibilities. These past few days have underscored how that spirit of possibility, defines now the US-India relationship. Our governments will continue to do our part. But I'm asking all of you in this room to continue to do yours. Forge new ventures and partnerships. Invent game-changing products and services. Create unimagined opportunities. Visit friends and family in India. Host them here in the United States. Maybe even right here at the Kennedy Center. Continue to be that engine powering our progress. If we do all that, I truly believe that the US and India will shape together a more peaceful, a more prosperous, a more connected future. Thank you all so very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome USISPF Chairman, Chairman Emeritus of Cisco Systems, and CEO of JC2 Ventures, Mr. John Chambers.
Thank you, my friends. It is one of the biggest honors of my life today to introduce a leader that I think grasps where the future is and is able to enable a country, partner with other countries, and change the world. I have met probably 40 of the top leaders around the world over 35 years in leadership. And the very first time I met the Prime Minister, he was different. He had an energy that was amazing. He had an understanding of technology and how technology was going to enable a country. And then he did something that is really unusual. He connected a vision to a strategy, to what are the priorities to get it done, to outcomes. And when he outlined his digital India strategy to me and asked for feedback, it was perfect for the future. He based his economy, inclusion of all the people in India, 1.4 billion today, on the ability to bring the power of technology to them, to change their lives, to enable them to participate in what will be the largest economic growth of any country over the next decade. I want to be very upfront. As most of you know, I have been the biggest optimist, the biggest bull on India's future, not in 1 or 2 years, but for the last decade since he came into the leadership. I am the Prime Minister's biggest supporter, and I always have been. Honored to be his friend, but also watch a man who has the ability to outline a strategy and then make it happen. People often ask, what was so unique? What is so unique about this person that changes countries, and I believe will change the world over time? He has an ability to inspire hope, to make us believe on what's possible. He then has the ability to build confidence on what the future can be. Then he is amazingly good on execution and getting his team and other teams to port toward a common goal. And then most important, he gets results. Many in America have a very positive view of India and the Prime Minister, but they really don't understand how far this country's come in the last decade. The country has moved from a very slow follower, where the government was very bureaucratic and very, very slow moving and rigid and not a dreamer, to the most innovative country in the world. It shows up in the economic results, where the country has moved from number 10 in the world to number 5, and as the Prime Minister said, in the next couple of years, number 3. However, I'm usually pretty good at getting market transitions and being accurate on connecting the dots for the future. India will become the number 1 economy in the world. And it will do so under the plans and programs the Prime Minister is putting in place. When you look at really leadership, leadership is made up of 3 component parts, in my opinion. It's your currency. It's first about your track record. And the track record of the Prime Minister in India over the last decade is an envy of the entire world, an example and a model for us to follow. Secondly, it's the ability to form relationships. This leader can form relationships with leaders around the world, with Democrats and Republicans. A little bit of Southern humor there. But also, he instills trust. And often when people come together and say, here's what we can do together in the future, it is all about trust. Do you trust me? Do you trust the other side that both of us will deliver? When people ask me that question, I have one simple answer. I would trust this leader with my life. So today you're going to hear one of the great visionaries of the future who also knows how to execute. You're going to hear he'll be very humble. He's a very kind person. But you also hear a vision for what I believe will make India the number 1 economy. You're going to hear a vision of how two countries can partner together in a way that no two countries ever have in history to work toward a common goal that will be to the benefit of every one of our citizens in India and in the United States, but also the benefit to the world. It is my pleasure to introduce one of the great leaders in the world, Prime Minister Modi. Please come and address us, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. मेरे मित्र सेक्रेटरी ब्लिंकन, गवर्नर ऑफ डेलावेयर, distinguished congressmen, other elected representatives, my old friend John Chambers, my always great companion, I can say, Mukesh Agiji, industry campaign, ladies and gentlemen, namaskar, good evening. अपनी अमेरिका विजिट के दौरान इस कार्यक्रम का मैं बहुत बेसब्री से इंतजार कर रहा था। आप सभी अमेरिका की विकास यात्रा के मजबूत स्तंभ है, मजबूत पिलर्स हैं, और इसलिए मैं आपसे मिलना भी चाहता था, आपसे बातें भी करना चाहता था। कांग्रेसमैन हो, बिजनेस लीडर्स हो, डॉक्टर्स हो, इंजीनियर्स हो, साइंटिस्ट हो, दूसरे प्रोफेशनल्स हो, आप सभी अपनी मेहनत से अमेरिका को इस ऊंचाई पर लाए हैं। आप सभी अमेरिकन ड्रीम का हिस्सा है। आपने अमेरिकन ड्रीम को जिया है। आपने दिखाया है कि संकल्प लेकर उसे सिद्धि कैसे पहुंचाया जाता है। मैं आप सभी का अभिनंदन करता हूं इस कार्यक्रम में मुझे निमंत्रित करने के लिए। मैं आगे जी का, जॉन का, आप सबका हृदय से आभार व्यक्त करता हूं। फ्रेंड्स, मुझे अमेरिका आए 4 दिन हो गए हैं। इन 4 दिनों में मैं प्रेसिडेंट बाइडेन समेत बहुत से लोगों से मिला हूं। मेरी कितने ही सीईओज के साथ, यहां के दिग्गजों के साथ मुलाकात हुई है। जिस एक बात ने मुझे सबसे ज्यादा आत्मविश्वास दिया वो है भारत और अमेरिका की पार्टनरशिप। और मैं बहुत विश्वास से कह रहा हूं, दावे से कह रहा हूं, ये पार्टनरशिप सिर्फ कन्वीनियंस की पार्टनरशिप नहीं है, ये पार्टनरशिप है कन्विक्शन की। ये पार्टनरशिप है कंपैशन की, और ये पार्टनरशिप है एक बेहतर विश्व के लिए शेयर्ड कमिटमेंट की। और इस पार्टनरशिप की बुनियाद, इसकी नींव आप है। अमेरिका के और भारत के नागरिक है। इस पार्टनरशिप की एक और खास बात है, अक्रॉस द पार्टी लाइन अमेरिका में भारत के लिए जबरदस्त समर्थन है। कल अमेरिकी कांग्रेस में जिस तरह बाय पार्टीजन सपोर्ट भारत को मिला है, वो वाकई अभूतपूर्व है। इसलिए मेरा ये विश्वास और गहरा हो गया है कि हमारी पार्टनरशिप 21वीं सदी की दुनिया का भाग्य बदल सकती है। फ्रेंड्स, हर देश की विकास यात्रा में एक ऐसा टाइम पीरियड आता है जब वो एक नई ऊर्जा के साथ एक नया लक्ष्य तय करता है। आज भारत भी एक ऐसे ही टाइम पीरियड से गुजर रहा है। कुछ समय पहले ही हमने अपनी आजादी के 75 साल पूरे किए हैं और हमने संकल्प लिया है, मोदी ने नहीं, 140 करोड़ हिंदुस्तानियों ने संकल्प लिया है। और ये संकल्प है विकसित भारत का, डेवलप इंडिया का। हम भारत में दशकों से चली आ रही समस्याओं का स्थायी समाधान कर रहे हैं और हम चुनौती को भी चुनौती देते हैं। हम भारत के गरीबों को सशक्त कर रहे हैं, उनके ईज ऑफ लिविंग बढ़ा रहे हैं। 10 साल में भारत, जैसा अभी जॉन ने कहा, दुनिया की 10वें नंबर की इकोनॉमी से 5वें नंबर की इकोनॉमी बन गया है। कोरोना काल में जिस तरह भारत ने इस महामारी का मुकाबला किया, वो भारत के सामर्थ्य को दिखाता है। आप जानते हैं कि आज पोस्ट पैंडेमिक वर्ल्ड में इकोनॉमी, इन्फ्लेशन और सप्लाई चेन क्या हालत है। इन सब के बीच भारत आज 7% से अधिक से भी ग्रोथ लेकर आगे बढ़ रहा है। और ये ऐसे ही नहीं हुआ है दोस्तों। आज भारत में रिफॉर्म्स का एक अभूतपूर्व दौर चल रहा है। इकोनॉमिक वर्ल्ड के आप लोग जानते हैं कि हाई ग्रोथ, लो इन्फ्लेशन का कॉम्बिनेशन आसान नहीं है, लेकिन आज भारत ये भी करके दिखा रहा है। हम फिस्कल डेफिसिट को नियंत्रित रखते हुए कैपेक्स में लगातार वृद्धि कर रहे हैं। हमारा एक्सपोर्ट बढ़ रहा है, फॉरेक्स बढ़ रहा है और एफडीआई का नया रिकॉर्ड बनता चला जा रहा है। पिछले 2-2.5 साल में ही अमेरिकी कंपनियों ने $16 बिलियन से ज्यादा भारत में निवेश किए हैं। फ्रेंड्स, भारत की सफलता का आधार, भारत के विकास की सबसे बड़ी ड्राइविंग फोर्स भारत के लोगों का एस्पिरेशन है। ये अमेरिकन ड्रीम से बहुत अलग नहीं है। आज भारत की जीडीपी में प्राइवेट कंजम्पशन का शेयर 1.5 दशक में सबसे अधिक हो गया है। और जिस बात को लेकर हम सबको समाधान होगा वो है भारत में एक्सट्रीम पॉवर्टी तेजी से खत्म होती चली जा रही है। भारत में नियो मिडिल क्लास एक ऐसा ब्लॉक है जिसका लगातार विस्तार हो रहा है। भारत के लोगों की यही एस्पिरेशन भारत और अमेरिका की पार्टनरशिप की सबसे अहम दूरी बनने जा रहा है। इस बहुत बड़े वर्ग की आकांक्षा पूरी करने के लिए भारत जो कर रहा है उसने अमेरिका के लिए भी नई संभावनाओं के द्वार खोल दिए हैं। अब जैसे भारत में एविएशन सेक्टर में डिमांड लगातार बढ़ रही है, भारत का डोमेस्टिक एयर ट्रैफिक, हमारा पैसेंजर्स ग्रोथ नया रिकॉर्ड बना रही है। इस डिमांड की पूर्ति के लिए भारत की एयरलाइंस कंपनियां सैकड़ों एयरक्राफ्ट का ऑर्डर दे रही है और इसका लाभ, जैसे सेक्रेटरी ब्लिंकन ने भी कहा, इसका लाभ यहां अमेरिका की कंपनियों को हो रहा है। यहां भी जॉब्स क्रिएट हो रही है। साथियों, डिफेंस सेक्टर में भारत और अमेरिका की पार्टनरशिप को मेरी इस विजिट में एक नई ऊंचाई मिली है। कल जब मैंने कांग्रेस में इस बारे में बात की थी तो पूरे सदन में तालियों की गड़गड़ाहट रुकने का नाम नहीं ले रही थी। ये स्वागत हो रहा है। राष्ट्रपति बाइडेन की दीर्घदृष्टि, फोरसाइटनेस, पूरा सदन उछल उछल करके बधाई दे रहा था।